Yeah.
You want to like him, but you can't.
Are you listening?
What?
Are you listening?
Did you bring me on this show to insult me?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all don't want it with us, man. You straight gangsters over here,
Straight
man.
gangsters.
Ah.
Yeah, good morning and welcome back. You are listening to Scout Team Sports. We bring it to you hot and live each and every morning, Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. And we are here hot this morning. I am one of your gracious co-hosts. They call me Loudbeard.
You are the most egotistical, self-deluded person I have ever met.
Yes, and all of that is true. And the man on the other microphone, he's the great patriot himself. He's so patriotic, he encourages players to go beast mode on Thursday Night Football. And that would be... Cricket, cricket, cricket. Well, I guess we got no Chris America this morning. That is okay, though, because we have a great show ahead of us. With America, without America, with a golden mic, without a golden mic, we just carry on. We're like the U.S. Postal Service. Rain, sleet, or snow, we come at you every a.m., just like we like to do.
That wasn't my intro.
Oh, I thought you were Chris. I couldn't even tell. You got quieter. You must have updated your settings on your mixer. I like it. I like it. You know what? I have one question for you. Why are you here?
Hey, I'm just here so I won't get fined.
I'm only here so I don't get fined. It's Friday. What's going on, brother?
Not too much, my friend. How are you today?
Man, I'm sorry about yesterday, man. The alarm didn't go off. The cat was creaking at the window. Man, it was a weird night last night, but I'm here today, so I'm going to make up for it.
I like it. Well, it's just you and I right now. Chris America, I think he may have missed his alarm also. So that's what happens when you're live. You bring it, and sometimes you just don't wake up and it can't get brought in. It happens.
It happens, man, especially on a Friday. It's cold outside, man. It's Florida, and it's like 40 degrees outside right now.
Oh, man, it's hard to peel yourself out of bed when it's like this, isn't it? It's like you just want to lay there. I hit snooze like an extra 3 times this morning. Yeah.
It's like extra cuddle weather. You know, cuddle weather for us is 60. When it gets to 40, it's like don't get out of bed cuddle weather. You know what I'm saying? So,
it is.
But I'm here. I'm live. It's Friday. I feel all right. Let's do it, man. Let's
all right. Well, Golden
team.
Ghost, I appreciate you coming on this morning. You are the man. Now,
not a problem, brother.
Your intro has Marshawn Lynch on it, and Marshawn Lynch is known as Beast Mode, but last night we have gotten a new Beast Mode in the NFL. The Titans-Jags game, Derrick Henry has his coming out party for the season, which is weird because it's towards the end of the season, and overall he's been kind of a disappointment this year, but all of a sudden he got his Superman powers, and last night he basically goes beast mode all over the Jaguars defense. Oh my gosh, this was great to see.
Yeah, what, 230 yards? That's pretty good, man.
Look, I'm going to put this in perspective. 17 carries for 238 yards.
That's
17 carries. Wow. And he had 4 touchdowns to go with it.
I missed the long run. Like, I haven't seen it yet. I saw it pop up, and I started watching the game for a little bit. Of course, I fell asleep. You know, man. I'm old, man. I can't stay up and watch these games anymore. But I wasn't gonna watch it because it was Tennessee and Jacksonville. But once I saw the 99-yard run notification, I turned it on, and they never played it again. And I was waiting for ESPN to upload it on the highlight reel, and I never saw it. So, did you see it?
Yeah, I saw it. You need to check out Twitter. You'll probably see it on Twitter because it is all over the place. He just kind of cuts through the defense and he stiff arms and runs over probably 5 or 6 different guys. One of the best runs you'll ever see. I actually saw a tweet out there that had the video, and then they replied with the video of Marshawn Lynch doing his original beast mode, and it was very similar. Like, this was one of the best runs. Actually, I'm going to say it right now. I'm not going to say one of the best. This was by far the best run in the NFL this year. 100%. I can guarantee that this was the best run in the NFL this year. 99 yards. And Derrick Henry, in the last 3 years, has 3 rushes for over 70 yards and a touchdown, leading the league in these long runs. And number 2 is Leonard Fournette. Leonard Fournette needed to come out and show something last night. He's been injured. He's got suspended, and he was supposed to be the running back that we were paying attention to last night, and Derrick Henry stole the show.
Derrick Henry's always been a solid back. He's just never been explosive. You know what I'm saying? So, okay, I get it. But, Leonard Fournette, what did he do?
Nothing, man. I don't even know what his stats were, but nothing. He got nothing.
Let's
0.
pull him up on the stats.
Yeah,
man.
go ahead and get that stat machine up.
We got to know what he did, man. Come on, brother.
I mean, this was like LSU going up against Alabama, and Derrick Henry representing his Alabama ties and Leonard Fournette representing his LSU ties. And guess who won? Alabama again. Derrick Henry showing the world that
all right.
Bama,
all right.
man, they're
so
everywhere.
So your boy had 14 carries for 36 yards.
So which one would you rather have? 17 carries for 238 yards and 4 TDs, or 13 carries for, what'd you say, 36 yards and
36
0 TDs?
yards. Then we just say Derrick Henry's a little inconsistent. So on this night, obviously, you want Derrick Henry. But, overall, I think Leonard Fournette's still a better running back, right?
I would say yes, but availability is the best ability, right? So what has Leonard Fournette done in the last couple years for the Jaguars? He has missed a lot of football, and to me,
he took
that
him to the
hurts
playoffs
him.
last year, though. He was healthy last year, and they went to the playoffs, though.
Right. And he wasn't healthy this year, and what did they do?
I get it, but when he's healthy, he's on. Derrick Henry doesn't really have an injury problem. He just has an inconsistency problem, right?
I would say yes.
Yeah. So,
But now he could be the man. Like, this could have been his coming out party. Think of Marshawn Lynch. I'm going to go back to
he was
Marshawn
playing
Lynch's
the
career.
Jaguars, man. Come on.
Yeah, but the Jaguars, they held the Colts to 0 points the previous game. All of a sudden, it was like the coming out party for the Jaguars defense, and then they come and they get stomped by Derrick Henry. It's one of those situations where you just don't know what that defense is going to give you week in and week out. And if you look back to Marshawn Lynch's career as beast mode, before he was beast mode, before he had that huge run that kind of brought him back, he really had kind of faded. He was an early draft pick for the Bills, and he didn't quite make it on the Bills. He ended up getting traded, and he goes over to the Seahawks. And then when he goes to the Seahawks, he kind of had a ho-hum year, and then that year in the playoffs against the Saints, he has that huge run, and that basically sparked him into being this superstar running back. Before that, he was nothing, and he had been in the league for a couple years. Derrick Henry, this could be his beast mode moment where he turns into the next Marshawn Lynch. Do you buy that? Do you think he could be the next Marshawn Lynch after what you saw last night?
Show me more. Show me more. I mean, it's the end of the season. The Jaguars are the Jaguars. I don't care what anybody says. That defense is always, it's been solid, but it's always had games like this. So show me Derrick Henry consistent for the next couple of weeks. Hell, they're still in the playoff hunt, right?
Yeah, the
They're right
Titans
there.
are in the playoff hunt. They were 6-6. They get the big win last night, so it puts them right in the thick of things for the wild card spot. And so that's what they're trying to get here. So now they move to 7-6, and they have positioned themselves well. And if they have a strong finish, they could easily be the wild card in the AFC.
So Derrick Henry. So Derrick, what? Oh, there he
Did you hear
is.
that? It sounded like a cricket.
There he is. Hey, maybe it's Ghost America? I don't know. I got
The
nothing.
ghost haunting America's hauntings. Brought to you
Something.
live by Scout Team Sports.
It's something like that. I don't know. Play his intro. Is
Let's
he
see if
still
that.
here?
I'm gonna call the ghost of Chris America's past.
I got nothing.
All right. Well, you tried. We tried. We got
You
haunted
tried.
for just a second, and
Yeah, that was
then it's
pretty
gone.
good.
Yep.
Yeah, but Derrick Henry, get in the playoffs, get past the first round. I mean, even if you don't get in the playoffs, finish the season strong. And then
We,
we'll
the
see.
people of the United States, in order to form a perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our prosperity, to ordain and establish the Constitution of the Christ
Just when I think
United
you couldn't
States of
possibly
America.
be any dumber.
I mean, that was pretty good for like 6:15 in the morning. It was pretty good. Hey, give him a handshake. Give him a clap. Come on, give him a clap. We don't have a clap on the soundboard.
I don't have a clap. I have a
Sorry,
laughter.
brother.
How?
I
Here
tried.
you go. There you go. That's the money sign. That
We
you're
need
so
that
money.
Jeb Bush. We need that Jeb Bush. Please clap. Soundbite.
Yes. Yes, we do.
We need a clap soundbite. Yeah, we need a clap. Like the clap, not the clap.
Like you attracted the clap because you were doing
Wait.
something.
Hey,
you
this
shouldn't
is
have
not
done.
After Dark.
We're in here. We're in the morning. Calm down, okay? Welcome, Chris America. What's going on, brother?
It's good, man. How you guys doing?
He's going. I'm good,
You're
brother.
so casual this
Thought-
morning. I like it. You're like,
He's very
no big
casual.
deal. Oh, what's
Yeah.
up?
I'm
Hey, guys.
trying. I'm
How
trying
you
to
doing?
play it off like I'm not late at all.
Yeah. You do that at work too.
Well,
Sometimes.
Like I've
We
been
used
here
to
the
do-
whole
we used to do
time.
it
I
in
just,
class.
I was in the bathroom.
Yeah,
No,
we
no,
used to do it in
yeah.
class all the
If I
time.
can slide in without anybody noticing, I'd do it.
All right,
Yeah.
Chris America,
Mr. Baxter, right? That was awesome.
Mr. Baxter. Okay, you guys are going low level in this
You're
one.
going
Mr.
back. All right,
Baxter,
come back.
the Baxter. Titans game last night. Chris America, your thoughts? Go.
Well, first of all, we've found out that it's not all Blake Bortles' fault.
That's true. That's
In fact, the
never
offense is a
blamed
lot
all
worse
Blake
without Blake
Bortles.
Bortles. So, I think he did have 2 games where they only scored 7 points, but he hasn't had back-to-back games where they only scored 6 points and then 7 points, really. I mean, the defense, really the punt team, and other 2 points. But, yeah, I think the Jaguars are in a lot of trouble.
yes.
And-
They
Just
are.
sounding that alarm.
Last night's game with Derrick Henry running all over the field and Leonard Fournette being a ghost kind of reminded me of just an Alabama LSU game
Yes, it did.
Was he listening? Were
when
you
those
listening?
two met up.
I think
What
he
are you
was
ta-
listening.
What are you talking about?
Okay, nothing.
What are you
Okay.
talking about?
Nothing. Go ahead.
No, I wasn't listening.
We already talked about this. It's okay.
And
You said the same thing.
yeah, I'm just
like
here
you
so
and
I don't
I,
get
we're on the
fined.
same page. We're like
Which is
thunder
kinda
buddies for
weird.
life.
Yeah, that's kind of weird, by the way. I'm just throwing it out
Which-
there. But
Listen, we are Thunder Buddies for life.
Thunder buddies. I'm glad it's
You
only
need to
two
get
of
on
you
our
guys.
level, Anthony. You need
I'm
to get on
good.
our level, Anthony.
I'm good, Thunder buddy.
Say you would do the proposal with Denzel Washington, and you'll be on our level.
Wait, dude, we're still in the
Say you
morning.
do.
Stay.
Still in the morning, but nobody knows what that
Say you
is unless
do.
they
Stay
listen after
on
dark.
topic. What they're gonna have to know if I'm gonna say anything, they're gonna have to know. I'm not gonna say anything. So just keep rolling with this, okay?
All right, so Titans look good. We said that this was when they needed to get the wild card, and Jaguars look like hot garbage. They're back
Yep.
to being the Jaguars. And everybody wants this to be on Blake Bortles, but I think this has got to be on Tom Coughlin and Doug Marrone too, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
God,
This offense doesn't have any weapons. Like, other than Leonard Fournette, who, when he's a ghost, they absolutely can't go anywhere. Bortles did not have any weapons around him. I think Marquise Lee was a good wide receiver. He goes out injured early in the season, and they're relying on these other guys like D.D. Westbrook. I mean, these aren't big-time players. We saw in Dallas, they were missing a wide receiver. They get Amari Cooper. It helps that offense really move. You need a big play wide receiver, and they don't have that. And that has been hurting them all year. And the running game has been absolutely inconsistent because Fournette can't stay on the field. Their offensive line it's shaky. And, Bortles, he's not a guy that can make a lot of plays happen by himself. I mean, he can roll out of the pocket. He can do some things on his own, but at a certain point, you have to have other people contributing to what you're doing. And this offense right now, I mean, it's going nowhere. This has got to be top 5 worst offenses in the league right now, if not top 3.
And then they had the other 2 wide receivers, Hearns, and then what was the other guy's name?
Allen Robinson went to the Bears, and then Hearns went to the Cowboys.
Yeah, they had 2 wide receivers. They weren't. Let's not take my words out of context here. They weren't world beaters. They weren't top 10, but they were far better than anything they have right now. And
Absolutely
they just let
agree
them walk.
with you.
They just let them walk, and then they're going to look at Blake Bortles like, "Hey, we let your 2 best wide receivers go, and now we want you to do some magic with the garbage that we just left for you."
That's what management does.
Well, the good news is
Leave you
Cody
with the
Kessler's
garbage.
going out there and proving the point that it's not just Blake Bortles. Not that Cody Kessler is the answer. Nobody thought he was the answer. But he's just proving the point that it isn't just the quarterback. It is the entire offense.
Yeah. I mean, we knew the offensive line had problems, and we knew that Leonard Fournette was injured. So I can't blame it. I never blamed it all on Bortles. I mean, there's no secret that I think Bortles throws ugly balls, but I never blamed it all on him. I just thought that he wasn't adequate enough anyway. But yeah, you're right. Without him, they look a whole lot worse.
Yep. I mean, hey, at least Cody Kessler can move on knowing that he had another chance at the NFL and he did nothing with it.
Yeah, he should definitely move on. Hey, Colin Kaepernick's still out there. Now, I'll tell you what. Now, the Jaguars and the Browns have the same record. The Browns aren't the sorriest team in the NFL anymore, guys. I'm just saying. Who's going to end up with a better record, the Jaguars or the Browns?
The Browns, hands down.
Yeah, it's got to be the Browns.
Yeah?
I mean,
What do they have? They both have 4 wins
Still?
now, right? Or what do you think?
They both have 4.
Okay. I think the Browns,
Browns
have another
that
win in them.
tiebreaker.
Are we counting that tie as a win?
Well,
Yeah, that's true.
it's a half a win.
I
So really, they have 4.5.
ties is like kissing your sister. It doesn't count. They both have 4 wins. And the question really was who will finish the season with more wins. So they're still at the same number of wins. I think the Browns have another win, maybe 2 wins in them. I don't know. Let me check their schedule real quick.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys talk while I'm checking.
I'm just waiting for the Golden Ghost to talk. I'm letting him be featured this episode. He's the
Hold
feature.
on.
Why
now
are you
I'm not so
featuring
sure.
me?
Hold on.
Yeah.
Now I'm not so sure. The Browns have
What
the
you got?
Panthers, the Broncos, the Bengals, and the Ravens. That's a tough slate. I don't know that I see a win for them in there.
Man, that's
Check out
tough.
They might just finish
And
with
they're
the same.
all wild card teams too, so they're teams that are fighting to try to squeeze
Yeah.
in. They're like sitting there in that hunt. So yeah,
And
they're
then
going
the
up against some tough
Jaguars
teams.
have the Redskins, Dolphins, and Texans left.
Ooh.
So the Texans is a tough matchup, but that's the last game of the season. The Texans may
Yep.
be resting people at that point.
And the
So
Dolphins suck.
The Dolphins suck, and honestly, the Redskins with Mark Sanchez as quarterback.
That's true. So
I don't have a whole. I don't have a ton of confidence. Okay,
I think
like
by
I'm gonna be a realist
default,
here.
looking at the schedules, I think the Jaguars have the better chance of finishing with more wins than the Browns do.
They could run the
There
table
you
and
go.
squeak in. I think it's
I
a
didn't say all
possibility
that.
if everybody else tanks.
Yeah.
I think they would have had to
Everybody
win
and their
last
mom.
night, though.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Oh
would
boy,
I would count that beat down as saying they're out.
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
I
it
was
is.
saying I wouldn't even want to go in. Like, hey, we
you know
made
what?
the playoffs. No, we didn't. We're forfeited.
I think Redskins versus Jaguars might end up being the worst quarterback game of all time.
Ooh,
Sanchez
no,
versus
no.
Kessler.
Nathan
And who-
Peterman would have to be involved in the worst quarterback game of all time.
And
Well, no. Like the two, like he
No,
has to
it's-
have a combined,
Hey, okay,
And-
it has to be combined.
and so he's half of one of the worst quarter. Like he's the worst quarterback game of all time, but like the worst dueled quarterback game of all time. How about that?
man,
Oh, man, you're not giving
who's the
Sanchez enough
backup?
credit.
Who's the So we know who's the backup for the Redskins. What, Johnson, right?
Josh Johnson now, yes.
Josh Johnson. Who's the backup for the Jaguars?
Blake
Blake
Bortles.
Bortles.
Wait, he's not injured anymore. He's off. He's ready.
He never
to
was
play?
injured. He got
No,
benched.
yeah, he never got injured. He got benched
I thought
because
he
the
got
offense
injured.
was so bad. No.
My God.
Things have all changed. My world is crashing down around me right now. What are you
That's-
talking about?
That's horrible.
Blake Bortles
That's so
is a better
horrible.
quarterback than Cody Kessler. That team just needed to try something different. They brought in Kessler, and they realized it's not really Kessler that's the problem. It's the offense. It's the play calling. They fire the offensive coordinator. They try to change that. They're just
Well,
doing
Kessler is
anything
part
and
of the
everything
problem.
they can. Yeah, Kessler is part of the problem.
So Bortles has been set for a couple of weeks now.
Yeah, this was the second week being set. I think the other thing too, not just to
Let's
get a new
switch
spark
it
on the
back.
offense, because I don't think if any sane football mind says we need to turn to Cody Kessler for a spark, they need to be fired from their football job right away. I think this is a lot more to do with we can't risk Blake Bortles getting hurt. I have one of the feelings that he has one of those contracts where if he's injured come some certain deadline,
He
then
gets
he
paid,
gets his
guaranteed.
full contract. So this might be one of those. Let's wrap him up in bubble wrap, put him in a chamber, a steel chamber, and make sure he doesn't get injured.
He better fall on the sideline. Just
Yeah,
fall on
right.
the sideline. But just say somebody ran into you, bruh. Happens all the
No.
time.
Well, I'm done talking about the Titans and the Jaguars. 37-2.
No, 30-9, right?
30
Oh
to
yeah,
9
that's
was
right.
the
They didn't
score.
score that touchdown. I remember they brought in. It was like towards the end of the game, they were at the goal line. They ran it twice. They didn't get in, and the crowd started chanting for Derrick Henry to be put in so he could get 5
A fifth.
touchdowns, and he didn't get in.
Fantasy football owners that have him playing, which probably isn't that many, are like,
No.
put him in. Put him in. I want to win this league with just one.
The 5
Oh.
people out there who had Derrick Henry start. Yeah.
Yeah, Yahoo Sports
Man.
last night tweeted out something to the effect of, if you're playing fantasy football right now and Derrick Henry's on the other team lighting you up, you need to look deep down within yourself because at some point in some time somewhere you deserve this.
Oh.
That is some nasty karma coming back if
That's
Derrick
savage.
Henry. I didn't even see what his final points were, but it's got to be like 60 or 70, right?
Oh, yeah. And, some leagues do bonuses if you get so many yards, if you get
Oh,
over
yeah, yeah,
200
yeah.
yards and stuff
I know
like that.
all my leagues that I've ever run, I've always given like a bonus like 3 or 4 points if it's a 50-yard run or an 80-yard run or something like that.
Right. Oh, absolutely. He killed it last night. 238 yards, 4 TDs. He absolutely killed it. That's like a fantasy juggernaut right there. Hey, another guy that at one point was thought that he could be a fantasy juggernaut and has been a utter disappointment is Kelvin Benjamin. But now he is going to the Chiefs where he will be having the greatness of Patrick Mahomes throwing to him. Do you guys think that Kelvin Benjamin can resurrect his career moving over to the Chiefs?
Did he switch over to left tackle yet?
He lost 78 pounds,
Wow.
and he's
Oh,
still
wow.
450.
He's still, yeah. No, I don't. I think he's an awful wide receiver. He's already had a MVP quarterback throwing to him, and he couldn't do jack squat with that. And then he went over to the Bills, and for some reason he's like, "Oh, now I have a real quarterback on the Buffalo Bills. I'm gonna light the world on fire." And he continued to gain weight and not do anything.
Why would Kansas... I'm so confused with these teams that are actually winning, picking up people. Why would they I mean, once again, it's late in the season. He's not going to pick up the playbook like right away. What's the point of picking him up?
I think some teams treat football players like Pokemon, and they're like, gotta catch them all. Yeah, I don't
You guys gotta
understand this
admit-
move at all.
I don't
Gotta admit
know.
the Chiefs don't have a deep wide receiving core. Like, other
So
than
Calvin
Tyreek
Benjamin
Hill,
is the answer?
other than Tyreek Hill, who else on the wide? What other wide receivers can you count on week in and
they
week
have
out?
some actually. They actually have a
I mean, they
good
got
wide
Watkins.
receiving core.
But
They got
you're missing
Sammy
the
Watkins.
point. They're winning. The chemistry is already there. Why invite somebody in who's and I like Calvin Benjamin. I think he'll be fine there, but I just don't understand the timing, and I don't understand like just why he's Calvin Benjamin. You got 4 games left in the season. Why invite him onto a team when the chemistry and everything that you got having already has been working? I don't get why he's there.
You know why? Because they think they have a chance at making a deep run into the playoffs, and if they have that one situation where they have a red zone stand and they need to get a touchdown, they want another big body. It's all about tooling up. It's not like they're going to be starting this guy. He's just a piece. He's just a little small piece to the puzzle that they think could help their team, and that's why they're giving him a shot. Whether or not he will or not is a completely different story, but it's not like he's getting thrown in. It's not like the NBA where you got 5 starters. Like, they don't even have to play Kelvin Benjamin that much. But they may think that they could use him as a goal line guy where they can just put him in the corner of the end zone and have him just body check with his huge, giant 500-pound body and knock guys out of the way and get himself open. I don't know what their thoughts are, but I know that when you're a team that is ready and poised to make a run and you think you can add one, even a small piece just to add a little bit of extra value, you take that chance and you go for it. And I think that's what they're thinking in this move.
No, you know why?
Go ahead.
Why?
The Chiefs run a very college spread type offense right now, which includes a ton of bubble screens. And what do you need to run a proficient bubble screen? You need wide receivers who are big enough that can block. And when you have a wide receiver who's athletic and the size of a left tackle, I can't think of anything perfect to have out there on the swing.
That's a good
blocking
point.
for Sammy Watkins, blocking for
Wow.
Tyreek Hill, blocking for
Good
the
point.
running backs.
I like it, man. That could be it. Think about that, Golden Ghost. Think about that.
I mean,
When you sit there and you look at
what you
Sammy
said, the
Watkins
sound,
and Chris
still.
Conley, are those guys you think can hold blocks for very long?
No.
hell, I don't think Kevin. I guess I never really seen Benjamin block though either.
I haven't either. I just know he's big. I'm just coming up
I'm
with
going with
more
the size advantage.
the big
Got to go with
jokes.
the size advantage. All right, one other NFL tidbit I want to throw out at you guys before we go to the commercial break, because this one hurts my feelings a little bit, and I'm thinking about this guy. But my boy, Redskins quarterback Alex Smith, apparently there are reports coming out that he is having some post-surgery complication, infection in the leg. They've had to remove some muscle and some tissue around the break where they repaired it. And a lot of stuff's coming out that this may be something that really sets back his recovery and could end up taking out his entire career. So I hate to see this. I mean, I was so up on Alex Smith. He's a winner. He helped the Redskins win 6 games this year with a lot of injuries and not a lot of talent. And now I see him struggling to just fight this infection. And, man, I hate to see that. I hate to see a good NFL guy lose his career off of an injury. So hopefully he still recovers, but things are not looking up for Alex Smith.
Or he just realizes he doesn't want to play for the Redskins.
I don't know if that's it. I mean, they're paying him $70 million.
They're paying him
Yeah.
$70 million. They're paying him, though. I think some of that was guaranteed, though, right? I think half of that was guaranteed. So
Yeah, no,
like,
he's getting money. I mean,
He's
I don't
getting
worry
money.
about the NFL having to pay him money. Like, the Redskins have plenty of money. I don't feel bad for them paying him. I just would love to see if he could absolutely get back on the field. Oh, real quick, you know what? We've got some tweets coming in, and I haven't even been paying attention. Our good friend Memphis Spence just tweeted in, and he said that Todd Gurley put out there that the run of the year was the run last night, the 99-yard run from Derrick Henry. We said this earlier in the show. Yes, 100%. We agree. It is the run of the year. Todd Gurley agrees. Everybody else in the world should agree. The run of the year was last night with Derrick Henry. Thank you, Memphis Spence, for tweeting in at us. If our listeners want to tweet in, we're at Scout Team Radio, and you can hit us up, and we will read your tweets on the air live each and every weekday, Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. when we're coming in hot.
Yeah,
Right,
and
Jimmy?
the contract was $94 million. $71 was guaranteed. So I guess he's set for life. I guess he can just say, yeah, I don't want to really
don't
work
wanna
hard
play.
on this broken leg.
I'm just saying, I'll sit on the bench for 71.
All I know is if I broke my leg at work and I had $71 million guaranteed, I'd probably be like, yeah, I can't make it back in. I don't think I'm good.
It's cold outside. I think we'll just stay
man.
inside.
You know, when it's cold outside, the only thing that warms my heart is a story about Tim Tebow. You'll hear that next.
Did you know 40 points on your credit score could cost you $40,000 on a mortgage? Thankfully, Lexington Law is here to help. Since 1991, Lexington Law has helped over 500,000 customers take action on their credit reports. Call 877-910-7472 to talk to a repair specialist now. Personalized credit consultation is free. Getting access to your report is free, plus free score evaluation with a recommended solution. Call now and get on the path to recovery. Call Lexington Law at 877-910-7472. That's 877-910-7472.
Oh, it's summertime. And what's that mean? We're all heading off to the golf course. But don't go too fast. Make sure you go to 12ouncesportsradio.com and book a tee time. At the bottom of any page, you'll see Book Like a Pro. Click that banner, enter your course of choice or zip code, find a tee time you like, book that tee time, and you'll get up to 50% off, courtesy of 12-Ounce Sports Radio. Book like a pro, even if you don't play like one.
Ring Central features all-in-one phone, messaging, and video conferencing. It's easy to use with unparalleled security. Ring Central simplifies things so you can grow. Call Ring Central to speak with a representative about a price for your growing business at 877-779-3860. Again, that's 877-779-3860.
Welcome back. Once again, you are listening to Scout Team Sports. I am one of your hosts, Loudbeard. Across the way, we've got Chris America and the Golden Ghost. We are the Scout Team. We love coming at you live as we do each and every morning, 6 a.m. And again, a replay at 11 a.m. on 12-Ounce Sports Radio. If you do not catch the live show, feel free to catch our podcast. It is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, or anywhere you can find a podcast, including our website, scoutteamradio.com. Also, get social with us. Hit us up on Twitter at Scout Team Radio. We're also available on Facebook and Instagram at Scout Team Radio. Check them out. But if you live tweet the show, we will talk about your topics, your subjects, anything you want to talk about. We may even read your tweet live on the air. Make sure you hit us up. Once again, that is at Scout Team Radio on Twitter. Well, gentlemen, it is a chilly winter day, even though we had a commercial saying it's summertime and you should go golfing. But it is a chilly winter day, and the only thing that warms my heart is a nice story about Tim Tebow. And the only reason I bring up Tim Tebow is because it really pisses off the Golden Ghost. So I just wanted to bring up a quick story. I won't go into too much detail, but the Mets, they're getting real close to getting Timmy Terrific out there and getting him in the spotlight because the reports are coming out that he is just one step away from making the big leagues. He's just so close. And the Mets believe that he is just on the brink of being a big leaguer. Golden Ghost, are you excited about talking about some Tim Tebow for just a second?
No.
All right, thank
And
you
this
for that
story has been
input.
going
I appreciate
on
it.
for like a couple of months, though, right? It's been a couple of months, and they've been saying they're trying to get him out there. What's the deal? He ain't doing nothing else.
I think this
Well,
is baseball's attempt to stay relevant during the offseason like the NFL and NBA have mastered beautifully.
Yeah, no, I love it. And there's a lot of trades going on in baseball. We haven't really talked about it, but like Robinson Cano got traded from the Mariners to the Mets. Huge trade. It was a blockbuster trade. We haven't even gotten a chance to talk about baseball, but baseball is doing their best to insert something into the conversation because this is college football time, this is NFL time, and it's hard to get in a word otherwise. But the baseball league, Major League Baseball, is trying their best just to get out there. And the Mets GM, he comes out and he says it. He says it word for word. He says he's one step away. And just him coming out and talking about Tim Tebow, you know it will make the news, even if there's not a whole lot to it. Because this isn't a new story. There's nothing new about this. The story is basically the GM just continuing to say what he's been saying for the last couple months, and that is Timmy Terrific is so close. He's just one step away from being a major leaguer.
You know what this reminds me of? Did you ever watch the Family Guy episode where Lois ran for mayor?
Yes, that one's good.
So during her like debate with, I don't know, what was it? Who's the mayor? Why can't I think of his name?
Oh, Batman.
Yeah.
Batman.
So when she's running against him, she finally was like trying to talk about like smart things and things about the economy, and like nobody would listen, and then finally she would say 9/11 and the crowd would like cheer, and then she would just start talking, and then she'd say 9/11 and the crowd would cheer again. I feel like this is the way it is with Tim Tebow now.
Yes.
You can sit there and talk about baseball and the shift and this trade and that trade, and we'll just sit there silently like crickets, and then you say Tim Tebow and we'll go nuts.
Yeah. Woo! Yeah. Just like that.
Yeah, okay.
All right, so we'll move on from Tim Tebow. I guess I got a couple more football things. Did you guys hear about this Freedom Football League? This was the first I had heard of it. I just saw an article on this. Apparently,
No, but Chris America is on board.
You are on board?
Yes, I want Freedom Football League.
Chris
Freedom
America
football.
believes in freedom. He believes in
Believes
patriotism,
in
and
it.
he loves freedom.
Listen,
so
I have
yes.
freedom. I have freedom fries. I have a freedom bulldog. Freedom.
freedom.
Tim
So-
Tebow.
Bulldogs.
Ricky Williams comes out and makes
Whoa.
an announcement.
If
Ricky
there's
Williams.
anybody who stands for freedom, it is my boy Ricky Williams.
Ricky Williams is a patriot.
Hashtag legalize it.
Ricky Williams comes out and he announces that there will be a third league to jump in the XFL and the Alliance American Football League hat. They're throwing a hat in the ring, and they're saying we're going to do our Freedom Football League also. So this is a third professional football league that is trying to come out, and Ricky Williams is one of the stakeholders. But it's not just Ricky Williams. No. There is about 50 professional football or former professional football players that have all gotten together, and there's 100 stakeholders altogether, but 50 of them are former football players, and this list includes the likes of T.O. and Simeon Rice and Ricky Williams. Those are three of the bigger names on there. I'm telling you, if you got T.O. and Ricky Williams putting together a league, they mean business.
Well, first of all, I believe that every single team will be in a state that has hashtag legalized it.
Colorado, they're going to be the Colorado Smokies.
Colorado's going to have 4 teams.
I think they're going to drug test their team or their players, and if you don't test positive for marijuana, you're suspended.
You know what? The way the world's
South
going,
Park
that would be
cows.
popular. It'd be great. It
Well,
would be
Loudbeard,
great.
you mentioned freedom, and I'm going to take the reins here. You mentioned freedom, and I saw one of the most un-American sports takes I have ever heard in my life. Do you know what I'm talking about, Loudbeard?
I've seen a lot of them lately. A lot of un-American sports takes. Go ahead and hit me with it. I'm sure I saw it, but go ahead.
It was none other than all of our favorite Alabama SEC radio show host, which to this day, I have no idea how this guy is famous. I get
You're talking about
Stephen
the
A.
Feinbaum take?
Yes, I
Feinbaum?
get Stephen A. Smith. I get Colin Cowherd. Those guys make sense to me. Paul Feinbaum, I watch him. He's boring. He's drab. He's mundane. And he never says any – like I've never heard a Paul Feinbaum take where I'm like, that was a solid – that Paul Feinbaum actually sounds like he knows what he's talking about. Maybe I needed to watch or listen to more Paul Feinbaum because I've tried. I've given him like – I can only give him like 60 seconds. His show is awful. But I digress. He had this take last night or whenever it was, Thursday, and Paul Feinbaum said, I don't want this to come off the wrong way, but shouldn't the UCFs of the world be content that they're in a New Year's 6 game? Loudbeard, that's got to be one of the most un-American things. If there's one thing I know about being an American, it's that you're never content with where you're at, especially if you're in a system where people are trying to hold you down, where people are trying to keep you back from being the greatest you that you can be. You don't ever be content. And when I hear an elitist like that say, hey, you just be content with what we give you, that's when I think of the greatest Patriots or one of the greatest Patriots I've ever heard, and that's these guys right here. Hopefully it plays.
You gotta fight for your right to party.
That's right, Loudbeard. UCF and
Fight for your
UCF
right.
fans, you got to fight for your right to party in the playoffs, party in the championship game, and then party when you actually win that thing. Keep on keeping on. Keep fighting. Don't listen to this old, bald loser of a sports
Hey, don't
take.
pick on his baldness, okay? That's just wrong.
Listen,
Look,
he
millions
shot
of
the
Americans
fires
are bald.
Just a descriptive
I'm
way
just
to
saying.
say
I'm
what he
just
really
saying,
is. Bald.
Don't pick on his bald. Hey,
so I can pick on his
baldness
oldness,
is-
but not his baldness.
I think both of them.
Paul
protected.
Feinbaum's the worst. Come on, Golden Ghost. You're going to be
I'm
defending
just-
Paul Feinbaum?
I think-
Hey,
I-
didn't we just have this whole Peter discussion? Don't
Hold on.
go pissing off our listeners, okay?
I think Golden
Nobody's
Ghost
Bald
is
pissed off
old
about
guys.
Paul
I think
Feinbaum.
Golden Ghost is still sensitive about baldness because he's about to be bald.
Dun, dun, dun.
That's still not true.
That is so true. That
I'm
is
still
so true.
arguing with that one. I'm gonna shave my legs, guys. The head, man. I don't know, man. I think I won that bet. I'm just saying.
I don't think so.
The
don't know what you're
NCAA.com rankings of offenses disagrees with you, but okay.
We never
All right.
specified.
Loudbeard,
Whatever.
I'm
Yes,
going to
sir.
use another Family Guy reference. When you see Paul Feinbaum say something like that, does that really grind your gears?
That really grinds my gears, man. Feinbaum, ever since he said that UCF fans were like cockroaches coming out of the woodwork, I was like, come on, man. Like, really, that's your
Pretty
hot
funny,
take?
man.
And he's still, to this day, he doesn't want to ever admit to anything. Now, he did come out. This was the only thing I've seen him say that I thought was a little bit respectable. And he came out and he said, he told Bianchi last year that if UCF went undefeated again, he would come down and go in the parade and claim them champions. And he came out a week or two ago and said, you know what? I got to stand up for what I said. I told Bianchi I'd come down for the championship parade. If UCF wins it out, and then I'm going to come down for the parade. So I don't know if he actually will or not, but he said he would. So I'm pretty sure he's really going for LSU right now because he has no way that he wants to come down and be at a parade at UCF. You know, he'd be booed and people would be throwing things at him the entire time. Nobody from UCF wants to see Paul Feinbaum other than the fact that they want him to come down and basically have to just tuck tail his and just, I don't know, his pride would be shattered is what I'm saying. Is that's what we want to see. Shatter his pride.
Yes. It felt like last night it was
Throwing
a
stuff at people.
full-on attack by media people on UCF. There was another one, and I'm trying to find it on my Twitter machine.
The
But I'm
SEC
having a-
commissioner came out and
Oh,
he
the
said
SEC
He said that UCF should look inward for their problems. It's not a system problem. It's not the other conferences. UCF should look inward and look at and see what they can do. Well, he kind of explained on there. He said they should look inward and see what they can do to maybe get themselves in a little bit better position to win. Maybe it's their scheduling. Maybe it's something else. But they should look inward. They shouldn't blame everybody else. They shouldn't blame the system because the system's fine.
Okay, Loudbeard, I want you to play UCF AD, and I want you to ask me, when I say you should schedule better, ask me to schedule you, okay? Ready? Yes, I'm the SEC. I represent the SEC. We can totally schedule whoever we want. UCF, why don't you schedule better?
Well, I called Alabama. I said, "You guys want to play?" You know what they said?
No. Just say, "Hey, cool. Can you schedule us?"
Say, "Hey, cool. Hey, cool.
Can you schedule us?"
Can you schedule us?
Gosh, you are so bad at this.
Yeah, he's
I don't know where you're going.
Loudbeard, your line is, "Hey, cool. Can you schedule us?"
All right.
Ready? Take 2. You guys should schedule better.
Hey, cool. Schedule us.
No, we don't want to schedule you. But seriously, though, schedule better.
Hey, cool. Schedule us.
That's basically what they do.
Oh man. Well, hey, I mean UCF can start the conversations about scheduling, and this is how they do it by taking our recommendation and scheduling right before the season instead of years out. I mean, they can take that step, can't they? I mean, they can try.
But the other teams have already scheduled out. So if the other SEC teams have scheduled out 2027, and you're calling them and you're saying, okay, give us a shot. Now the AD at UCF, and this is kind of they're wanting to build the program. They don't want to kind of bend over and take it from the big Power 5 programs. So they're saying, if you schedule us, we want to do a 1-1, a home game for UCF and a home game for whichever team. So that is their parameters. So they're wanting to do a 1-1. A lot of these SEC teams, they don't want to do a 1-1 because they don't want to do a home game. They want to make sure it's either a neutral site or it's we'll just play. You play at our home field, but we're not going to play at yours. And so because of that, they're saying, no, I don't want that. 1, we could lose. 2, we don't want to. We're not going to give you the ability to have your fans see our team at your own home stadium. And so what some of the Power 6 and some of the Group of 5 teams have had to do is they do what they have to do is a 2-1, where they say, okay, you're so powerful, SEC and ACC and whatever teams, that we'll let you play 2 home games if you just give us 1. And the teams that are doing that are able to schedule some more of the Power 5 big brand blue blood conferences. But it's almost like, well, you're better than us, so we're going to let you do that. And Danny White came out and said he's not going to do that. He's not going to bend over for these huge Power 5 conference teams that think that they can just bully their way into saying that they're going to make more off of us because they want more home games. So there's a little bit of a challenge there because Danny White is trying to do it the right way and not let them bully him around. The other thing is he needs to probably look at more of the neutral site games. He hasn't done that as much because he's trying to build the fan base at UCF with getting the stadium filled each and every time. So he wants those home games. He doesn't want the neutral site games. But if he starts maybe letting up a little bit on that stance and says, okay, Alabama, I'll play you, but it's got to be a neutral site, which Alabama would never agree to, but at least that conversation could be had. Because he put it out publicly. He said, anybody that wants to play us, give me a call. And then he came out a couple weeks later and said, nobody's called me. Nobody wants to play us in the Power 5. He's fighting to find opponents to play him because at this point, it is on the non-conference games, they don't want a tough opponent, especially if it's a group of 5.
They don't. Yeah,
okay,
they don't want
so
a tough
then
group
take
of 5.
the 2-1. Take the 2-1 and beat them 3 times.
So
why
if they
doesn't
take
Florida State do a 2-1? Why would
problem
it be
is
any different?
the problem with
I don't know.
UCF is if they
I have
take
no
the
idea.
2-1, they generally do the first 2 at our home, and then we'll do the one at your home. So they'll play the first 2 games, and then they'll be like, we're going to back out of that last game.
They can back out the game without penalties and everything, though, right?
That's whatever money they have. That's just easy. They'll just go to their donors and say, "Hey, we have like a $500,000 buyout with UCF. Can you just pay that off for us?" Cool, thanks.
Oh, it has to be more than that, right?
I mean, the games the games are usually only
scenario.
$1 million to $2 million, so I can't imagine the buyouts that much. It's not like a coaching contract.
Well, everything's negotiable. Make it that much. Make it to where, hey, look, I'll play the first 2 games wherever you want to go. But
So
that
this
third game,
this
you're
is the
coming
problem
here.
with Danny White and UCF is he has no leverage against these teams. Like, these teams don't need UCF on their schedule. They really don't. And they benefit more by not scheduling them and then telling UCF to schedule better, and then UCF plays a bunch of lower tiered, Power 5 teams, and then they can say, well, I guess your schedule just wasn't good enough, so you don't get to make it for a 5th year even though you're like 70-0. Like, that's part of the problem with this system. The system is designed for UCF and Group of 5 teams to fail. They set you up for failure is what that's called. They tell you have to have a strong strength of schedule, but they never schedule you, and then when you don't have a good schedule, they say, well, why wasn't your schedule that good?
I hear you. I hear you, but I hate to say this the way it is, but take it as you can. If they want to play the 2-1, I'll take the 2-1 and just make it harder for them to get out that third game. If not just 1-1 and then another one at their house. I mean, there has to be negotiation. There has to be something in there for them.
There was one more UCF trash. We're going to hold you to a different standard than we hold everybody else. Tweet last night. Jonathan Vilma, College Football Saturdays analyst, University of Miami alum, said some of the UCF fan base is ruining it for the rest of the fan base. And he's talking about, and I've heard this a lot from other people, like, oh, UCF fans, they're the ones that are ruining this. They used to be a good story. Now I hate them and all this other stuff. So wait a minute. You're telling me that a passionate fan base that just gets on Twitter and likes to defend their team is ruining it for them, but a guy who kills a tree for Alabama doesn't ruin it for Alabama. A fan base that is currently, right now, trying to set up Gus Malzahn for failure, you're telling me that's not a toxic fan base that's ruining it for Auburn. Let me go one step further. You mean the Alabama LSU fans that shot and killed each other over an argument, you're telling me that doesn't ruin it for those fan bases, but UCF getting on Twitter ruins it for all. I mean, I could go on and on and on and on and on. Let's not even talk about the countless of all other fan bases that tweet at 17-year-old boys about how mad they are at them and cursing them out and calling them all kinds of different names under the sun because they didn't commit to their team. You're telling me that doesn't ruin it for all these different fan bases, but UCF defending their team and defending their national title claim, you're telling me that is what makes UCF an enemy of the state.
Yes, sir. I agree. This is the problem is we're talking to a wall right now because they've already got their SEC bias built in or their ACC in this one or their Power 5 biases, whatever you call it.
They're just making up reasons why they don't want to like UCF. They're making up reasons.
It really is.
They don't want to just say, look, I don't like your team because you're peeing in my Cheerios and it's making me really upset. I'm tired of you trying to fight the system. Leave us to our elitism. Leave us alone. We want to have Oklahoma versus Alabama. We don't want to see UCF versus Alabama because we're traditionalists in college football. We can't have change. We can't have a new kid on the block. We don't like new money. We like old money, and we want old money to continue to make all the money.
No, I completely agree with you. And just as an example, last night was the College Football Awards. Not a single, in all the major categories, not a single Group of 5 player won an award. And a guy like Darrell Henderson, who is the just great running back for Memphis, that guy should have won. Jonathan Taylor wins it over him. Jonathan Taylor's a good running back, but Darrell Henderson is something special. He should have won it. Not a single Group of 5 player won it. Now, Tua gets the Player of the Year. Good for him. He was great all year long. I'm not arguing that, but there are some other awards out there, and there's some talent out in the Group of 5 that will never get recognized because they will never be up on that same level as the Power 5 because it is a biased system that continues to condone pushing down and bullying the rest of the Group of 5. And that's all there is to it.
Yep.
All right, so we're almost to the end of the show here, guys. I have one more hot take for you. I have to talk about this.
Take.
LeBron is interested in Carmelo going to the Lakers. Tell me how you feel.
No.
Do it. Do it, LeBron.
Oh,
Do
God.
Banana
that's
it.
boat
so
for
bad.
life.
Do it.
Banana
Mellow for
boat
life.
for
So
life.
bad.
I love it.
That is so bad, man. Does anybody see this?
Y'all should see me. I have an evil grin on my face. Do it, LeBron. Do it, Carmelo.
That is that.
LeBron legend.